So you probably saw my unboxing video of the PowerA Fusion Pro controller for the Switch. And I've been using it for a little while, I think somewhere around a little over a week. And I think it's time that I actually do a official review of this product in case you haven't bought it yet and you're still wondering if you should buy it or not. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I do like about it and don't like about it. And I'm going to try to show you some gameplay using this in action. I did try to show gameplay in my last video. It just didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So let's jump into the review and start talking about the stuff that is good about this controller. Number one, in terms of like the weight of the controller and the way it mostly feels pretty good. It has a decent weight. I even was recently playing with my official Pro controller, and it just feels a bit lighter in weight than it does to this one. And that's actually, I guess, a good thing for some people. Maybe they want more weight to their controller so that they can have more of a control over their gaming, more of a comfortable fit. It does also feel a bit wider in some aspects. It really shouldn't, because they're about the same size, although it did feel a bit more comfortable to hold, and that's a good thing. The other good thing you get with this package is that you get the two swappable faceplates, one in white, one in black. I actually do like this one right here. This one's really nice. And you do get two additional analog sticks to change out. It's kind of weird because one of the two is basically just a spare of these already on there, and the other one is a different tip for the analog. I tried using that for my shooting games to see if I'd have a more comfortable movement with aiming. It just wasn't that comfortable. I'm not really sure what that analog stick is for, but the fact that you can change these analogs and faceplates is pretty cool, and the fact that you can remove the mappable buttons if you want and not use them at all. But if you want to just use them, you just pop them back in and you're good to go. These also come out. I wouldn't recommend it because it is a bit of a pain to put them back in the controller, but you're paying $100 for this controller, and it does offer some good things. Unfortunately, there is quite a few negatives that keeps it back. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that it does have a headphone jack, but it only works if you're connecting the controller through USB-C. And it's a problem because I actually have a wired controller, and I've had a couple others that has a headphone jack, but they're wired only, so you have to plug them in either way. This one works for both Bluetooth wirelessly and wired, so I was hoping the headphone jack would work without the cable, just like the Xbox controllers and the PlayStation controllers work that way. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You cannot use the headphone jack here unless it's plugged in. The next negative that I want to talk about with this controller is that there's no NFC reader. So if you're someone like me who occasionally uses the amiibos, depending on the game you're playing, for example, I use amiibos for Bayonetta 2 because I get in-game currency for the amiibos that I scan. Unfortunately, you can't do that with this controller. Even if you go to a game and you try using an amiibo, with Bayonetta in that case, it'll give you a message saying, please connect the controller that has an NFC reader or something like that. So it's kind of unfortunate that the official Pro controller is only like $70 and it has an NFC reader. It also has HD Rumble on this one. This one doesn't have HD Rumble, so no vibration, no HD Rumble. That's another thing that gets taken out. And you also, you do have motion controls. Granted, I don't use them. Motion controls are, whatever. But not everyone uses amiibos. I understand that. But the fact that the Pro controller from Nintendo is only like $70 and it has all those different features, and this one doesn't have those features and it's $100, is kind of a weird asking price for it. Aside from that, I do have a personal problem with the back triggers. That's just me personally. I'm not skilled enough to use them. I tried using them for Warface and Fortnite. I have a friend who plays on PC, and he tells me that he needs mouse and keyboard because it allows him to jump and aim at the same time. So I figured, okay, I can put the jump button to one of these, and I can aim and shoot. It's too complicated for me to do. Now, that's not me giving a reason why you shouldn't buy it. If you have experience with these type of controllers and you want to try it for the Switch, by all means, go ahead and try it for the Switch if it's only that reason you want the controller for. If it's for all the other reasons combined, that may stop you from buying this controller at the price that they're asking of $100. The fact that it has no NFC reader, the fact that there's no HD Rumble, the fact that you can't use the headphones without plugging it in is kind of strange. However, you do get a nice carrying case. Granted, it is a bit bulky, Actually, I can show you right now a difference in size between my cases. So this is the case that comes with the Fusion controller, and this is the one that I bought off Amazon. So it's kind of different. You may think it's not much of a difference, but it's the same reason why I tell people the reason I have a Switch and a Switch Lite. It may not be a big difference when you look at it, but when you actually experience it and take it with you, that shortage of space really does help depending on the bag you have and how much things you're carrying. So it is kind of cool they gave you this case, but it's pretty big and clunky. And I mean, it has some ports for your analogs, and you can hold a back piece here if you don't want to use the triggers in the back. And you have the USB cable, which I have so many USB cables, I'm not even using that one. And the front pouch has a slot for the other faceplate. So yes, you are getting a decent amount of stuff with the price you're paying. However, it's more of the experience that matters. It's more so how well will this controller up my game, so to speak. How would this controller give me a leg up on the competition? And I tried to use it, and actually, what I could do is I could play a little bit of let's say Fortnite, and show you how it works and stuff like that. So let's just try to get that gameplay for you guys. So there's one thing I forgot to mention that counts as a positive for this controller, and it's that most third-party controllers they don't have the feature that lets you wake up the Switch when you hold the home button. But this one does have that feature, so you can hold the home button and it'll wake up your Switch from sleep mode. That is a cool feature that I forgot to mention, and that actually counts for positive points for me because that's a big deal for me. Alright, so I got Fortnite on, and I do have my jump button for one of the back triggers. So we're going to see how well we can do here. And don't judge me on my skills because I'm not good at Fortnite, like, at all. I don't really play this that often. But I feel like it was a good way to show you how this controller actually works with the back triggers. So I'm going to try to show you my controller here. And as I said, I do have the back button back here. So I'll actually show you. My thumb isn't moving from the analog, but you can see my character's jumping. And so it's, it sometimes works if you're really good at it. That's why I said earlier, like, if you're good with this type of controller, by all means, this could be a good purchase for you if you're fine with some of the other stuff that I talked about. So we'll talk about that more in a bit. I want to see how good I do against somebody. There's one more feature that I forgot to talk about. The back of the controller has a switch that lets you go between USB mode and Bluetooth mode. The reason why I appreciate that is because any other Nintendo controller, if it's not powered on and the buttons are being pressed, whether it's in a bag or a case, that'll drain your battery. However, when you switch the controller to USB mode, it will not press the buttons to make it, try to turn on. It'll save your battery completely by turning it to USB mode, and that is actually a really cool feature. Alright, so I hear some gunshots in the distance. Maybe I can find someone and show you some more of this. I got one. There was another one around here, wasn't he? Yep, there he is. Okay, so he's in a storm, so he'll be occupied real quick so I can heal. Screw it. Got another one. All right. Out of ammo for that one. Actually, I'll take that one. I gotta try to heal myself. So I think it just takes some time to get used to it. Over time you get used to it and you will learn how to use it. As I'm seeing here, I'm actually doing pretty good for myself. All right, so we made it to the final 4. So hopefully we can make it to win. I really hope we can. 3 left, me and 2 others. Here we go. Oh my god, here we go. Last one. And he's in this direction, I know that. There he is. Oh my god. Oh my god. So here's what I ultimately think about this controller. I think it's a good controller, but the price is too much. I think it should cost, well, I understand why it's not, around $80 because the official Pro one is like 70, and I guess they don't want to charge that close of amount because they might just go for the official Pro one or whatever. I don't know. I think $100 is a bit too much asking price for this controller. I think maybe like $80 would be a good price for it. Considering that you don't have the NFC reader, you don't have the HD Rumble, and you can't use the headphone jack without the USB plugged in. But with the addition of the back triggers, that is ultimately up to you. And the reason why I say that is because they actually have other ones that are wired, such as this one. This is the LED one, and it lights up. It has a headphone jack on the bottom as well, and it has two back buttons. There are other controllers that have back buttons as well. Those they feel a bit more cheaply made. I think those are the Power A ones, and they cost about $50 roughly. This one is by PDP. These buttons actually do feel a lot better in terms of these type of controllers with the two back triggers. But for the Fusion Pro, it does have 4 triggers. That's the only controller for the Switch that has the 4 triggers. So that's what you're really, I guess, paying for, as well as the changeable faceplate. My biggest issue with that controller is I would like to use it for racing games, to use manual transmission. And like, for example, on Xbox, when I'm playing Forza, I play manual transmission with the clutch button. And it would be great to do that with other racing games for the Switch. But I don't think any racing game on Switch has manual transmission, at least the ones that I've played. So that is basically, I believe, primarily meant for shooting games if you want to be more competitive and have the advantage against other players. It's not really a cheat at all because you have to be able to have the skill to press those buttons. Me winning in Fortnite was pure luck. I am not that good in Fortnite, and I was struggling to get it with the controller in front of the camera. So, like I said, I think it's worth it if it was a bit cheaper. But there is a lot of give and take for it. You get some things and you lose other things. So I hope this review helped you in terms of deciding on if you want to buy this controller or not. And I can't wait to see what other new controllers and accessories are going to release in the future for the Switch or the Switch Pro, since that's supposed to come out this year. I'm Untitled Tech. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.